where it's emotions for a little girl. They had a few Canada jokes in there. South Park had the most famous one.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
Although I do prefer the Kyle's mom is a big fat. Yeah.
That would be great. All right.
Or Uncle.
But I mean, it's funny because if you actually watch the movie, Canada's not even mentioned in the movie. It's like, the aliens decided they weren't even going to bomb. Bombing Ottawa.
Yeah, Canada doesn't matter. The aliens don't need us. We've already bowed down.
It's like, you know what? We'll take out everything in the United States. Canada, you know what? Hey, they're not going to care what we do as long as we keep giving them cable.
Cable and hockey.
And hockey.
As long as there's cable and hockey and bacon.
Yes, and bacon.
Maple syrup bacon. Okay, now I'm hungry.
Okay, so actually that didn't take quite as long as I thought it was going to take. I thought you would be a lot more opinionated on this.
I'm always opinionated, but honestly, I did not see it. I do not know how it's going to work without Will Smith. I'm still hopeful.
Well, I'm just kind of glad, that Jeff Goldblum is in the movie because, I'm not sure that this movie would have been worth doing if they didn't bring Jeff Goldblum in.
The whole original cast should have been back. All of them.
Well, that's just it. Bill Pullman will be back in some, part. I don't know how big a role he's going to be in this movie. So a lot of the bigger characters will be back. Except
I just question how they can outdo the original. Because it's going to be hard to outdo that, because it was such a classic, such a huge action-packed sci-fi movie.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, and I seriously, wonder because we, of course, Jurassic World came out just a couple weeks ago, and it is already breaking records. It is now the fastest the movie that's gone to $5 billion faster than, or $1 billion faster. Actually, no, I guess it is. It's fastest one to get to $5 billion. And so, it's breaking all sorts of records. We brought this up when we talked about this movie a couple weeks ago. It was the most anticipated movie. I'm not sure Independence Day is going to be that way.
I definitely don't, but there's a lot of us who have been waiting ever since the last one. We've heard all the rumors. We've sat with, bated breath. We've waited and waited and waited. We're finally getting our wish. Obviously it's still going to take some time before it comes out, but we're still waiting. It's finally coming back.
It's finally coming back.
Without Will Smith. I can't say that enough.
And again, I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's bad because Will Smith was a key character in the first one. You take him out, you got to find someone who's able to take his spot, fill his shoes.
But, part of what made Will Smith so great about that is he had so much energy. Look at Will Smith now. This is 20 years later.
But you got to wonder if working with Shyamalan Ding Dong has caused that.
Well, and I think, he definitely, even before that, he had done several movies, and so his value is kind of went down. It's sort of like, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's career, the last really good, big movie that he actually did was Alice in Wonderland.
See, it should not be about value or anything. It should be about doing what you are wanting to do. Doing what you're meant to do. And this is a movie that obviously Will Smith owes a lot to. And he should have came back to the roots and done one last movie.
So you have to question was this a decision on his part, or was it a decision on the part of...
See, and I agree with you, but we haven't heard Will Smith talk about it at all. And obviously...
Well, this information just came out. Literally, there was... People didn't know very much of anything up until last night.
We will be glued to our TV screens, our phones, our computers. Anytime we find details, we'll be putting it on Twitter. We'll be talking about it in the next episode, which will be Friday night.
It'll be Friday night, which...
Hopefully we have a lot, detail.
It'll be June 26th. I was trying to get my...
I don't care about the date.
Yeah, so, speaking
It's a
of which...
Friday.
So, I know she's probably going to listen to this after we put this up on Spreaker, so I just want to wish my wife an early happy birthday. Yes, I am trying to get at least a couple of brownie points in.
Happy birthday, Mask Guy's wife.
Thanks. Yeah. And also, just a couple of extra birthdays, just because I feel like kissing up to people.
Don't kiss my butt.
I'm not kissing your butt.
Okay, I don't know where it's been.
Also, happy birthday to Selma Blair, who turns 43. She's at least best known in our world as playing Liz in the Hellboy movies.
Yeah.
And it's also the 51st birthday to one of the greatest directors in recent history. Although, I mean, that's no secret to you or I, because we've been big fans of his for a long time. Of course, I'm talking about Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Whedon
Needs to come out with more stuff. We pretty much buy it up like candy.
Yeah.
Guy's gold. Everything he touches turns into magic.
So,
leprechauns. He has leprechauns up his butt.
He's got leprechauns up his butt. His derriere. There you go.
Derriere. Oh, no. We're not French.
Oh, I'm trying to talk Irish, but it's not really coming out too much Irish.
No, you just sound like a drunk slurred.
Yeah. Up your arse, yeah.
I have a leprechaun up my arse.
Well, we'd hope so. At least we could give some money off.
I'm magically delicious.
Yeah, righty then. Just a couple quick things before we go. I guess I will try to get to the Marvel news, but we're just going to go over things really quickly. There is a rumor. This comes from a member of the superhero hype message board, and he claims that he snuck onto the set for Captain America Civil War, and Captain America apparently will lift Thor's hammer in this movie.
We don't have confirmation on whether or not Captain America was actually filming at that time, or if it was just a break.
And, yeah, we have no clue exactly. I mean, there's talk about him, jumping up to a building and everything, but again, this might just be a bunch of hearsay, and might be just some schlob trying to go off and trying to get...
It could be just mere propaganda to boost hype for the movie.
It might be. Jane Van Dyne, better known as Wasp, will be having some sort of role in Ant-Man. Of course, she was the wife of Henry Pym, who was the original Ant-Man. We don't know how big the role is actually going to be. I've actually heard that they've actually hired a no-name actress to play the part, just because all they're going to show is her eyes.
See, whether or not they're going to do the original Ant-Man or not, Wasp was a very important part of Ant-Man.
But here's the thing, though, they're going with Scott, who's the second Ant-Man, and so by this point, I believe in the comic books, when he became Ant-Man, Wasp had passed away by that point, and so that's part of the reason why Pym went off and became this guy's mentor. And so, I don't know how big of a role. She was one of the original Avengers, along with Henry Pym. She, just like Pym, when she wore her suit, she was able to shrink down size, but she could actually fly as well, and she could shoot some sort of fireballs. So I'll be kind of interested to see exactly what they do, because who knows, this might actually lead to a prequel, where they go off and do a young Henry Pym and a young Janet and their work as Ant-Man and Wasp.
Which would be nice to see.
Well, Marvel Studios is not going to be doing anything for their movies. Marvel TV will have a big presence at San Diego Comic-Con. They will be all 3 days. All the days that they're going to be there, they will be doing panels on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., on Agent Carter, on their animated series, and there will be a bunch of photograph sessions. So they will have a presence there, even though they're big brothers.
Which is nice to see, because we both were worried that Marvel was going to have no exposure there at all, and it was going to be all DC. Thank God that's not the case. I'd love to see competition between Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
It's always been like that.
Speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, 20th Century Fox will be screening the first ever showing of the Rogue cut of X-Men Days of Future Past. And then it will also be available for Blu-ray and DVD at the con as well. And so what's interesting is it's Rogue has a very small role. I believe she only appears at the end of the movie.
And yet Rogue's one of the most popular characters.
And so this part will actually, I can't remember how many, but there'll be like something like 10 minutes of footage.
If
at
you're
the beginning of the movie, of them breaking her out of some sort of jail.
If you're in San Diego, go see it. Let us know. Give us details. You know, find us on Twitter. We'd love to talk to people who were actually in San Diego for this.
And the last bit of Marvel news I had is Doctor Strange director Scott Derrickson is on his way to London to begin productions of Doctor Strange. And, after, hearing for months that he wasn't actually going to play the title role, I found out that Benedict Cumberbatch is actually going to be playing Doctor Strange. And I honestly, here's the thing. And maybe they were just teasing because Cumberbatch actually went off and pretty much said, hey, you know what? I would love to even have a small role in this movie. So maybe they were just hiding the fact that he's actually going to be in this. But, maybe I'm just the last person to know this.
This goes against everything that I hate. It's one guy playing multiple people. And as I've said many, many times on this show.
What other superhero has he played?
Was he not Loki?
No. He played Khan in the last Star Trek movie. He was Smog.
Who was Loki?
Oh, now you're going to make me go off and look that up. And we simply don't have enough time for me to go off.
We will follow up on this in the next episode. I guarantee I'm right.
And no, you're not. I don't have my phone with me. And so it's, I'm simply not going to, even if I did, I really wouldn't have time because we need to, kind of finish this up.
Okay.
We need to go off and just plug our social media outlets here. You can follow us here on the show at @FizzMaskedShow. You can follow me on Twitter at ThatMaskGuy.
Or you can follow me at Real CAPT Fizz. That's at Real Captain Fizz.
Also, you can search for us on Facebook under the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy Show. And we are now on YouTube, so you can look for us. It's actually, you can search for us simply the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy podcast. All of our episodes are up, including a couple of silly little videos that I actually went off and did several years ago when I was first trying to develop my mask persona. So it's all on there, and within the next day or so, we will have this episode.
I believe it actually. As soon as we upload, it goes straight to YouTube now.
Does it really?
I believe that's what we set up. If not, it will be set up anyways.
Yeah, and I've went off, and I was actually on a couple of days ago to set up some playlists to make it easier for people to actually listen to all of our episodes on YouTube. And this is great. Because this will help, give us a bit of a wider audience. So we ask you, to, go off, watch us on YouTube. Show these podcasts to your friends.
Give us feedback. We love feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, in closing, thanks for listening. Again, I can't tell you how, blessed I really feel on, just the amount of success we've had, no matter how big or how little it might be. We encourage you to come back and listen to us soon. Again, as my cohort here went off and said, we will be recording our next episode on Friday, June 26th. So probably within about 10 or 11 p.m. on that evening, it will be up on Spreaker And if everything goes well, it will also be up on YouTube shortly thereafter. So until next time,